caucuses. It's an exciting day to be here. Thank you for being here. You excited? All right. My name is Ken. I am the temporary caucus chair for this at-large caucus, and I was recruited and trained by the Nevada Democratic Party to run this caucus.
Bienvenidos, mi nombre es Oscar, nombre de mi colega es Ken, y soy el funcionario temporal de este caucus presidencial. Fui reclutado y entrenado por el Partido Demócrata de Nevada para dirigir este caucus.
This is the location for shift workers and those of you that work within a 2.5-mile radius of this property, which for today's caucus includes all of the properties, which we'll name to you in a second. We have actually 11 delegates that we will be electing from this precinct caucus today. 11 delegates will be elected from this caucus. The information was provided to me by the Nevada Democratic Party. First, I want to tell you a little bit about how I got here. Prior to the caucus day, I signed up as a temporary chair with the Nevada Democratic Party. I attended temporary chair trainings prior to caucus day, and I picked up the caucus packet materials to run this caucus prior to this day. Now, I would like to call our caucus officially to order. At this point, I want you to think of this as a neighborhood meeting. The primary purpose of this caucus is for Democrats from our area to get together to voice our preference for who we would like the 2016 Democratic presidential nominee to be.
Okay, sorry about that. Este es un lugar para los voluntarios y aquellos de ustedes que trabajan dentro de un radio de 2.5 millas de esta propiedad, que para el caucus de hoy incluye como varios casinos de Encore, Venetian, Palazzo, Trump, Mirage, Treasure Island, Grand Sahara, Circus, Stratosphere, Westgate, Palace Station, Hilton Grand Vacations, Las Vegas Strip, Hilton Grand Vacations Paradise. Y hoy día tenemos 11 delegados para elegir hoy. Esta información me fue dada por el Partido Demócrata de Nevada.
I will pass around at this point, one of my assistants here will pass around a Nevada Democratic Party donation envelope for anyone who would like to donate to help offset the cost of these caucuses. The caucuses are truly a grassroots process that is paid for by the Nevada Democratic Party, and any donations are greatly appreciated. However, it is not mandatory for people to participate, so no need to give if you don't want to. Of course, anything you do give will help offset the cost. We do have elected officials who sent in various letters. Now, I'm not going to read these letters here at the caucus because they're pretty lengthy, but we are going to set these letters up here. And I just wanted to acknowledge that Governor Steve Sisolak, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, Senator Jackie Rosen, Congresswoman Diana Titus, Congresswoman Susie Lee, and Congressman Stephen Horsford have sent in letters just thanking all of you for participating, and if any of you would like to read them, we'll leave them up here for you in a moment here. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to back up a little bit. Los caucus no pueden ser llamados al orden antes de las 11:30. A las 12 los voluntarios en cargo de registrar personas ahora marcarán a la última persona en la fila para registrarse. Nadie puede registrarse después de ese punto. Cualquier persona que llegue después de las 12, ya pasó, tendrá que observar en el espacio para los observadores. Quiero que piensen en este como una reunión del barrio. El propósito principal del caucus es que los demócratas de nuestra área nos organizamos para expresar nuestra preferencia por lo que nos gustaría el candidato presidencial demócrata de 2020. Y mis colegas pasarán alrededor una sobre de donación del Partido Demócrata de Nevada para cualquier persona que quiera donar, que no están obligados a hacer eso. Este caucus es realmente un proceso de los bases pagado por el Partido Demócrata de Nevada. Cualquier donación es muy apreciada, sin embargo, no es obligatorio para poder participar. Ahora ellos van a circular el sobre de contribución.
At this time, it is the item on the agenda. The next item is to elect a permanent chair and the permanent secretary. This actually has to happen before any official business is conducted, as it is a procedural component of the caucus process.
Ahora es el momento de elegir al presidente permanente al secretario permanente. Esto tiene que suceder antes de cualquier negocio oficial, ya que es un componente fundamental del proceso del caucus.
Before any official business is conducted at this caucus, the caucus as a whole must elect permanent officers. These officers include a permanent chair and a permanent secretary. I am a temporary precinct chair at this moment who was recruited and trained by the Nevada Democratic Party to run this caucus. I would like to nominate myself as the permanent chair.
Antes de que cualquier negocio oficial de este caucus, el caucus en su conjunto debe elegir a los oficiales permanentes. Estos oficiales incluyen un presidente permanente y un secretario permanente. ¿Quién es el presidente del distrito electoral temporal que fue reclutado y entrenado por el Partido Demócrata del Estado de Nevada para dirigir este caucus? ¿A quién le gustaría nominarse para presidente permanente?
All those in favor of electing me, Ken Martin, as permanent precinct chair, please signify by saying aye, and opposed, please say nay, and we'll translate.
Todos los que están en favor de elegir a Ken como presidente permanente del distrito electoral, por favor signifiquen diciendo sí, y si opusiera, por favor diga no.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Excellent, thank you very much. Appreciate your confidence. Now it is time to elect a permanent secretary. This is not mandatory, but as the permanent chair, I would like to elect a secretary to assist me with the caucus process. At this point, I would like to nominate as a permanent secretary, Sally Miller, right here. And so I'll turn it over to Oscar.
Ahora es el momento de elegir un secretario permanente. Esto no es obligatorio, pero como presidente permanente a Ken, me gustaría elegir un secretario que le ayude con el proceso de caucus. Escucho una nominación para el secretario permanente. A Ken le gustaría nominar a Sally como secretario permanente. Todos los que están en favor de elegir a mí.
All those in favor of electing Sally Miller, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Congratulations, Sally. Now that it is noon, we have a permanent chair and secretary, and everyone has completed registration. I will announce the number needed for viability. Viability is the minimum number of people that each preference group must have in order to be awarded at least one delegate.
Ahora que son las 12, tenemos un presidente y un secretario permanentes y todos han terminado de registrarse. ¿Quién puede anunciar el número necesario para la viabilidad? Viabilidad es el número mínimo de personas que cada grupo de preferencia debe tener para darse al menos un delegado.
Viability is based on the number of delegates allotted to each at-large caucus and the number of total caucus attendees. We will determine the number needed for group viability by counting the number of caucus attendees and then using the formula on this poster, which was provided to me by the Nevada Democratic Party, to determine viability.
Viabilidad se basa en el número de delegados asignados a cada uno en general y el número total de asistentes en el caucus. Determinaremos el número necesario para la viabilidad del grupo contando el número de asistentes en el caucus y luego usando la fórmula de ese póster allá a mi lado izquierda, dado por el Partido Demócrata de Nevada, para determinar la viabilidad.
At this point, we would like you to hold up your preference ballot, and our counters are going to come around and count you, and then we will determine the viability at that point.
Ahora encontrarás todos el número necesario para que... Ahora van a contar el número de todos los que están levantados. Andrew.
Bear with us for a moment as we just, if you've already been coming, you can put your ballot in. So the total number of participants, congratulations, 95 people are here today at this caucus. It's awesome. Which means that for any one preference group to be viable, you need to have at least 15 people in that preference group.
Hoy día tenemos 35 personas aquí y el número necesario para que un grupo de preferencia sea viable es 15.
You round this, so we're at 14 plus.
And the way this works is
We're at 14.
we take the 95, we multiply it by 15%, and what that gives us is 14.25, and you round up to the next whole number, meaning we get to 15.
Lo que tenemos 95 personas y multiplicamos por 15% y sacamos 14.25. Eso se round up a 15.
Now that we know the number for viability, it is time to join our presidential preference groups. But before we start, I would like to remind everyone, and this is important because this is our value statement. All public meetings at all levels of the Democratic Party in Nevada shall be open to all members of the Democratic Party regardless of race, age, color, creed, national origin, religion, ethnic identity, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, economic status, philosophical persuasion, or physical disability.
Ahora que sabemos el número necesario para la viabilidad, es hora de unirse a nuestros grupos de preferencias presidenciales. Antes de empezar, me gustaría recordarle a todos que todas las reuniones públicas a todos niveles del Partido Demócrata en Nevada están abiertas a todos los miembros del Partido Demócrata, independientemente de su raza, edad, color, credo, origen nacional, religión, identidad étnica, orientación sexual, identidad de expresión de género, estado económico, persuasión filosófica y discapacidad física.
At this point, I will give everyone up to 15 minutes to align themselves with their presidential preference. We have posters on the wall, alphabetically starting over here with Michael Bennett and going around the room and ending here with uncommitted.
En este punto voy a dar hasta 15 minutos para alinearse con su preferencia presidencial y si pueden ver, ahí están los nombres de los candidatos, empezando de Michael Bennett al lado derecho, por toda esta pared y aquí a mi izquierda también.
So at this point, this is our first alignment. You have 15 minutes to go to whichever corner of the room that you want for your first choice. 15 minutes.
Tenemos 15 minutos y tienes que ir para el candidato presidencial que ya está apoyando.
Alright guys, this is Matthew Purdy at Breitbart News. If you're watching right now, it seems like Bernie Sanders has the most support in this particular caucus just by looking at numbers. Joe Biden probably coming in second. He's right over there.
Just as a reminder, if you do not have a ballot, you cannot participate in this process. You need to be in the observer section. You need to have a ballot to participate. So you still have 15 or about 13 minutes left to move around. So.
All right. So again, we're looking at the pure numbers here, guys. This caucus. You have, out of 95 people, these are the numbers you have for Bernie. And then you've got next to Bernie, Tom Steyer, right? And he's right over here. He's probably got about 10-ish people. And then you've got about Biden camp here. And then you have Liz Warren over here. She has probably about, it's looking like 5, 6, 7. Right, and then looking over here, it's the second largest group, the Biden group.
Is there anyone who has not aligned with their first preference group at this point? We don't have to use the full 15 minutes, so is everyone aligned with their first preference group? Okay.
Todos están alineados con su primer preferencia presidencial.
Got no one under any quota bar right now.
Okay, at this point, we're going to freeze the first alignment, which means please do not move from your preference group as our assistants here are going to come around and count you. Before we do that, we'll translate.
No se muevan.
All right, guys, so right now, any candidate who doesn't have 15 people is going to be eliminated from this round. Joe Biden will make it.
Please hold up your ballot.
And Bernie Camp will definitely make it. Tom may or may not make it. It's hard to tell if there's 15 there or not. Looks like tonight. Liz Warren definitely won't make it. Of course, Pete Buttigieg has no one where he's at right now, interestingly. There are 95 people here, not one voting for Pete Buttigieg. Mayor Pete with no one. Of course, Tom Delaney, who's he. And then you got Tulsi, doesn't have anyone here. And Amy Klobuchar doesn't have anyone. It is interesting to see that there's no one for Mayor Pete here, who has been a little pretty competitive in the polling as of a few weeks ago. We got our Biden camp, and we got a Bernie camp. And maybe Tom's camp has a chance of making the first round. I think it might. Let's see. So right now, guys, the process is basically you have to have 15 out of 95 of these people per candidate in order for that candidate to be considered viable and move forward with potentially getting delegates or not. They will not get delegates if they don't have at least 15 people in this first round. That being the case, you're not going to see any votes for the delegates from here. For Pete
Once you've been counted, please make sure that you have marked the blue side.
Amy, Tulsi, John Delaney, and you probably, I mean, Yang obviously not. Liz Warren probably won't make it. Doesn't look like she's got enough people. My associate is making fun of me, saying that I said Clos Couvert. I did. I'm tired, guys. Take it easy. I've been doing live streaming every day past few days. I'm tired. Clos Couvert. Please excuse my lack of coffee. So it looks like Bernie Camp has got the most support here. Followed by Biden. And then Tom. Tom. Let's see how many he has here. I think Tom's got enough to make the first round. It's hard to know for sure. I think he's got it, though. We'll see. It might be just under or just over.
Really?
Please don't move. Please stay in your caucus, folks, because we still need to count you. Thank you.
Okay, guys, I just want to point out this is really interesting that Mayor Pete doesn't have anyone here. Anyone, just so probably one of our more competitive candidates is without a single supporter here. Just find that interesting. Meanwhile, Tom, who actually is not doing as well in the polls as Pete, has a bunch of people here. So they're more organized, it seems, for this caucus. It looks like they're trying to convince people to come to their side. And, Bernie Camp. Bernie Camp is here. They seem like they have the overwhelming support. I think they're pretty confident they're going to take this, but we'll see.
Okay, thank you so much. Was that fun? Okay, we're going to now announce the raw numbers in each preference group. And remember, you need 15 to be viable.
Ahora vamos a anunciar el número de cada grupo de preferencia y se tienen que acordar que necesitan 15 para ser viables.
Michael Bennett, 0. Joe, and they're not viable. Remember, you need 15. Joe Biden, 25, viable. Pete Buttigieg, 0, not viable. John Delaney, 0, not viable. Tulsi Gabbard, 0, not viable. Amy Klobuchar, 0, not viable. Deval Patrick, 0, not viable. Bernie Sanders, 46, viable. Tom Steyer, 16, viable. Elizabeth Warren, 6, not viable. Andrew Yang, 0, not viable. And uncommitted, 2, not viable. Now at this point, before you move, please do not move. For the caucuses that are viable, Joe Biden, please raise your hands with your ballot. And then we have Bernie Sanders, please raise your hands with your ballot. Tom Steyer, please raise your hands with your ballot. We are going to come around and collect those ballots from you at this point. Please make sure for your ballot to count, you have to have filled out the blue side of your ballot.
No voy a leer todo otra vez, pero los tres grupos que son viables de Biden, de Bernie Sanders y de Tom Steyer. Ahora te van a ir, van a recoger tus papeletas. Lo van a recoger sus mamás, pero no se muevan.
All right, guys,
The only people who should be remaining with ballots are those who are in non-viable caucuses.
Las únicas personas que deben tener sus papeletas son los que son los grupos que no son viables, que son los otros que no son de Steyer, de Bernie y de Biden.
All right, guys, we're watching right now. The current status is that in this particular caucus, is that there's only 3 viable candidates that they can vote on at this point. That is Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, and Tom Steyer. So, at this point, first with the most support would be Bernie Sanders. Joe Biden's in second place.
Have all the ballots been collected?
Seemingly. Yes, and Tom is in third.
If you are in the Bernie Sanders caucus and still have a ballot, please turn it in. If you're in the Tom Steyer caucus and you have a ballot, please turn it in. If you're in the Joe Biden caucus and you have a ballot, please turn it in.
And the question is, where are the Liz Warren caucus goers going to go?
Do not move, because we still... Okay, just one moment here. Please make sure your ballot is filled out correctly. If you're in a viable caucus, there are only 3 viable caucuses: Bernie Sanders, Tom Steyer, and Joe Biden. The rest of you, hold on to your ballot.
Si no están en el grupo de Steyer, de Bernie Sanders o de Biden, las únicas personas que deben tener papeletas son de los otros grupos, pero los grupos de Steyer, Biden y Bernie no deben tener papeletas.
And yeah, guys.
Okay.
Well,
Okay. We're just one more moment here. Leslie, do we have all the ballots from the Sanders caucus? No? Okay. Just one moment, please.
So the real suspense is coming down to, where are these guys going to go? Liz Warren supporters will have to move to some other candidate. Question is, which one are they going to go to?
Remember, for your ballot to count, you have to have signed the ballot. You have to have signed the ballot and fill the information out.
Para que tu papeleta cuente, tiene que haber firmado papeletas. Si no está firmado, creo que lo van a devolver para que lo firmen.
Interesting thing is, a lot of people are in what appears to be staff attire. I don't know if they're staff at this hotel or not. It might be. I imagine a lot of people are coming from work to vote, to participate in this caucus. Either way, there seems to be a lot of women here, probably more women than men. It's hard to say, though. Again, guys, for just tuning in, we had a number of candidates who did not make the first round, including Mayor Pete, John Delaney, no real surprise with John Delaney, Tulsi Gabbard, and Amy.
Do we have all the ballots?
Of course, Liz Warren didn't make it, Andrew Yang, of course, didn't make it. Deval Patrick didn't make it. I think we didn't really expect too much for that, for that one.
Please remember, if you are not a participant, please stay in the blue observer box if possible during this process. Thank you. Do we have all the ballots for the Bernie Sanders sub-caucus? At this point, we now have all the ballots in. We will move to a second alignment. During this time, caucus attendees in non-viable groups may realign. You will have to do so. Now, people who are already aligned with a viable group, that is the folks in Bernie's group, in Tom Steyer's group, and in Joe Biden's group, are unable to change preference groups.
So where are those one people going to go?
Gracias. Ahora vamos a pasar al segundo alimento. Durante este tiempo, las personas asistiendo al caucus que están en grupos de candidatos no viables pueden realinearse y cambiar de grupo. Tienen un máximo de 15 minutos para hacerlo. Las personas que ya están alineadas, que son los de...
Where will these guys go? That is the question.
ya están alineadas con un grupo de candidatos viables, los Steyer, Bernie y Biden. El candidato viable no puede cambiarse de grupo.
If each of the viable caucuses could nominate one person from each of the caucuses, this would be one person from Bernie, one person from Tom, and one person from Joe Biden, to come up and give a 1-minute speech to convince the non-viable people why to join your caucus. So please send one person up from each caucus. One person up.
This will be interesting.
Cada grupo de Steyer, de Bernie y de Biden, para que dé una declaración de 1 minuto de parte de su grupo de preferencia de candidato.
So they're all gonna, the 3 candidates are gonna select one person to stump for their guy and try to convince some of these Liz Warren people to go to join their camp. It'll be really interesting.
Okay, the representative from Tom Steyer. So much. The representative from Joe Biden's campaign.
For those that are not viable, please, I like all the candidates, but what I'm voting for this year, for this session, is for somebody that I believe can beat the Republican Party. So that's where I'm at. I like all of the candidates for the Democratic Party this run, but right now I'm voting for who can beat our Republican Party. So please come over to Joe Biden. That's who I feel can be the current president. So how about Joe Biden? Don't against Bernie Sanders.
Good job. And last is the representative from Bernie Sanders' campaign.
So this is why I feel that we should vote for Bernie Sanders. It's not just about beating Donald Trump. It's also about changing our future for our children. If we vote for Bernie Sanders, he's going to help us. He has the power to do so. I know he's older, but you know what? He has a big heart. And he's going to help us out. And I know my child, all of our children will be in a better place if we vote for Bernie Sanders. So go for us! Bernie Sanders!
That's right. Excellent job. Thank you so much. So at this point, we are going to let the second alignment begin. Let me translate.
All right, where will the Liz Warren people
Let me
go?
have Oscar translate.
The suspense is
period will
mounting.
be for 15 minutes unless we don't need all the time. So, Oscar?
Ahora comenzaremos el segundo alimento de un máximo de 15 minutos para que las personas que pertenecen a los grupos de candidatos no viables escojan su segunda opción.
Looks like they're
Si
talking
alguna
amongst
persona
themselves.
decide no escoger una segunda opción, pueden irse del caucus o quedarse a observar. Sin embargo, esas personas no recibirán delegados, pero pueden escoger su opción segura.
There we go. We're going to Bernie. All but I think one of them. Maybe 2. Maybe one for Tom, I don't know. Oh, we got more. Got more for Biden. I think Bernie got this one.
Has everyone who wants to move, who could move, moved at this point?
Que todos que quieren escoger a otro candidato han movido a los grupos que quieren escoger. ¿Sí?
Those folks who moved into a new caucus should have a ballot. At this point, you need to fill out the other side of that ballot and then raise your hand and we will collect it from you.
Las personas que se han movido a otros grupos tienen una papeleta. Tienen que llenar la parte roja y llenarlos y después lo van a recoger ahora. Pero no la tengo para que lo puedan ver. Y cuando lo llenan, por favor, llenen esa cuadra, toda la cuadra para que se pueda ver.
Just a reminder for folks filling out a ballot to fill in the squares fully and to sign your forms.
I'm trying to go to work, that's why.
So it looks like the places probably remain. You got Bernie first, Biden in second, coming up a fight, and then you got Tom in third. Remind you all, no one at this point in this caucus can vote for Pete, Delaney, Tulsi, or Amy, or Yang, or Warren, or Deval Patrick. We'll wait for them to count the ballots.
Giving this girl a shirt off my back. We were just talking about it because we were like, who got this sweater? Oh, that's my sweater. Oh, yeah.
Just bear with us. Your fantastic secretary that you elected is doing some math here to figure out the delegate count. So give us just one moment, please. Okay, we have the results, and After the second alignment, Tom Steyer had 17 people in his caucus, which means that he will elect 2 delegates. Congratulations, Tom Steyer. Joe Biden had 28 people in his caucus, and he will be awarded 3 delegates. And Bernie Sanders had 50 people in his caucus, and they will elect 6 delegates. Congratulations.
El grupo de Tom Steyer tiene a 17 personas y van a elegir a 2 delegados. El grupo de Joe Biden tiene a 28 personas y van a elegir a 3 delegados. Y el grupo de Bernie Sanders tiene 50 personas y van a elegir a 6 delegados.
At this point, we need to elect the delegates. We have awarded each group their delegates, and each preference group will elect the delegates that they would like to send to the county convention, which is on April 18th. Before we do so, I would like to read another statement. Discrimination in the conduct of Democratic Party affairs on the basis of gender identity, expression, race, age, color, national origin, religion, sexual orientation, physical disability, or economic status is prohibited. In order to encourage full participation by all Democrats in the delegate selection process and in all party business, diversity programs shall be implemented with particular concern for minority groups as defined in the Democratic National Committee Charter.
Ahora que hemos asignado a cada grupo sus delegados, cada grupo de preferencia va a elegir a los delegados que quieren enviar a la convención del condado. Antes de continuar, me gustaría leer otra declaración. Está prohibida la discriminación a base de identidad, de género, raza, edad, color, origen natal, religión, orientación sexual, discapacidad física o estatus económico en la conducta de asuntos del Partido Demócrata, con fin de estimular la participación completa de todos los demócratas en el proceso de selección de delegados y en todos los asuntos del Partido Demócrata. Se debe implementar programas de diversidad con enfoque particular en grupos minoritarios, como son definidos en el capítulo del Comité Nacional Demócrata.
At this point, I would like to take a minute to explain the role of a delegate to the county convention. Delegates to the county convention attend an all-day convention on Saturday, April 18th, and they vote on a variety of party matters, including but not limited to the county party platform, members to the county central committee, electing delegates to the state convention in Las Vegas on May 30th, and if you wish to run as a national delegate to attend the Democratic National Convention in Milwaukee from July 13th through July 16th, you must be elected as a delegate to the county convention and from there to the state convention.
Ahora me gustaría tomar un minuto para explicar el papel de un delegado a la convención del condado. Los delegados a la convención del condado asisten a la convención, la cual dura todo el día, el sábado 18 de abril de 2020, y votarán sobre varios asuntos del partido, incluyendo, pero no limitado, a la plataforma del partido del condado, miembros al comité central del condado, elegir delegados a la convención estatal en Las Vegas el 30 de mayo de este año. Si quieren lanzarse como delegado nacional para asistir a la Convención Nacional Demócrata en Milwaukee el 13 de julio al 16 de julio 2020, usted debe ser electo como delegado a la Convención del Condado y de ahí a la Convención Estatal.
Now, each preference group will take nominations within your group for the position of a county delegate. Just as a reminder, Bernie Sanders will elect 6 delegates, Joe Biden will elect 3 delegates, and Tom Steyer will elect 2 delegates.
Ahora cada grupo de preferencia debe tomar nominaciones para la posición de delegado del condado. Y para haceros acordar que Bernie Sanders tiene 6 delegados, Joe Biden tiene 3 delegados y Tom Steyer tiene 2 delegados.
like to run as a delegate to the Democratic National Convention, you must be here in attendance today. Please proceed in electing delegates within your preference groups. Each group will also elect alternates to the county convention. Each group can elect as many alternates as they would like. However, there should be at least one alternate for each delegate. There is no cap on the amount of alternates that can be elected. Please note that we should try to elect an equal number of men and women.
Si quisiera lanzarse para ser delegado de la Convención Nacional Demócrata, usted debe estar presente el día hoy. Por favor, continúe eligiendo delegados dentro de su grupo de preferencia. Cada grupo también debe elegir suplentes para la Convención del Condado. Cada grupo debe elegir tantos suplentes como quiera. Sin embargo, debe haber por lo menos un suplente para cada delegado. No hay límite en la cantidad de suplentes que puede elegir. Por favor, tome nota de que debemos tratar de elegir el mismo número de hombres y mujeres.
To run for national delegate, you must be elected at this precinct caucus. You are allowed to nominate anyone from within your precinct to the county convention, even if they are not here today, not present in this caucus. When each group has finished electing their delegate and alternates, we will pass out forms for each elected delegate and each elected alternate to fill out.
Cuando cada grupo haya terminado de elegir a sus delegados y suplentes, nosotros distribuiremos formularios que cada delegado electo y cada suplente debe llenar. Espero que cada grupo de preferencia elija a sus delegados y suplentes.
At this point, you can go ahead and start the process of electing your delegates.
Ahora puede empezar el proceso de elegir sus delegados.
So right now, they are talking amongst themselves to figure out which people they will elect as delegates. Bertie's got 6, Tom's got 2, and Joe Biden has got 3. Bloomberg has decided not to really participate in Nevada, so it's no real surprise he doesn't have much support here. you guys are wondering why I'm not able to, I'm not walking over to these guys and talking to them and everything, or trying to, because I'm actually in this area called the Observers area, right? And what this means is that I'm not really able to interview them or interact with them, really. And I can't leave this this box here. I'm stuck to a box. All right, the line's a little, tape's falling off a little bit, but but that's basically the line. I can't leave this area. Otherwise, I'd be getting you much cooler shots and talking with these guys. But per the caucus rules, I am not able to actually interact with these guys and ask them questions, interview them inside of this room. So if you're wondering why I'm not just jumping up there, that's why.
So there's no precinct number, it's Wynn.
But I mean, they should understand. I don't know. They made it like the field is like wrapped up in she's doing this.
If you've elected your delegates, you can sit down now. We're almost done here. We're almost done. If you've elected your delegates, please make sure that we've collected the forms from the delegates who were elected. If you've elected your delegates, please make sure that they fill out the form and that we've collected those forms. But you can sit down if you've already elected your delegates.
Si han elegido sus delegados y si han recogido sus maletas, por favor, siéntense un momento.
We're almost done. Almost done. If you finish the elections but you're still filling out the forms, you can go ahead and sit down so we can go on with the rest of our business. If you're just filling out forms, you can fill them out while you're sitting down, just so we can complete our work here. Okay? We have already asked representatives from each of the campaigns to verify our results and to sign our caucus math worksheets.
Hemos pedido a los representantes de las tres campañas que revisen los resultados y que firmen la papeleta.
We're now going to move on to the submission of resolutions. If you would like to submit a resolution, you can come pick up and grab a resolution form, which is down here. If you brought your own resolution, you can bring it up to me now. If any of you have resolutions that you would like to be passed to the county convention, you can bring them now. Okay, seeing none, we will now.
Si usted quiere someter una resolución, puede venir a recoger un formulario para resoluciones que me voy a traer ahorita. Si trajo su propia resolución, me la puede entregar en este momento, si quiere.
Seeing none, if you are interested in becoming a member of the County Central Committee, there is a sign-up form up here as well. The Clark County Democratic Party Central Committee represents over 347,000 registered Democrats. The Clark County Central Committee is primarily comprised of precinct captains and precinct representatives. These crucial positions promote voter education and mobilization of the grassroots level. Precinct captains and representatives are elected here at the presidential caucuses, so if you would like to be a part of the Clark County Democratic Party Central Committee as a precinct captain or representative, please raise your hand.
Si está interesado en convertirse en miembro del Comité Central del Condado, acá están los formularios para registrarse. El Comité Central del Partido Demócrata del Condado de Clark County representa a más de 3,047 miles de demócratas registrados. El Comité Central del Condado de Clark está primordialmente compuesto de capitanes de recinto y de representantes del recinto. Esas posiciones cruciales promueven la educación de votantes y la movilización. Los capitanes y representantes del recinto son electos aquí en los caucuses presidenciales. Así que si quieres ser parte del Comité Central del Partido Demócrata de Clark County como capitán o representante del recinto, por favor levante la mano.
At this point, I'm going to adjourn the caucus. I want to thank each and every one of you for participating today in your democracy. This election is critical, and all of you are active participants in making sure that we restore sanity and decency to our democracy. So I want to thank you for participating.
Gracias por venir y por participar.
Thank you, and have a great day. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everyone. That's it. That's a wrap.